you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
With the beginnings always, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, the Holy Saint Mother Rabbi. May his peace of the blessed be within the body of his presence. We are to continue on with our conversation concerning an affront of religious people. And then I hope you'll enjoy the first part of our program. And maybe we can continue further on in education, in liberation, enlightenment, but understanding that maybe you look at yourself after you watch this program and may seek about changing certain things about yourself to be better equipped and better to handle things of religion that you may not be as offensive, whether knowingly or unknowingly. You know, sometimes we do things unconsciously. We go about in our life because we've been taught in our religious house of worship, and we think we're being righteous, good people, but at the same time, we don't see the offense that we have put on people that may turn people away from religion, that are afflicted to that, but their actions. Never mind, I'm not going to be part of that particular group or that group, so my brothers and sisters may, that's certainly possible.
You know, one thing, personality,
Okay.
character.
Right.
When you come into religion, you're supposed to apply yourself to change. And many people come into religion to apply change to the religion.
Yeah.
You understand? And some people who are not mature enough, who don't recognize that it takes a stronger person to be humble, faithful, soft,
Okay.
than those who consider themselves powerful, who are abrasive, you know, loud and forceful and mean.
Okay.
You understand? We have a lot of people, great amount of people, man, who believe that talking loud and hard to someone means strength.
Right.
When they can get their message over nice and soft.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I have the ability to speak nice and calm. And I like speaking nice and calm to people and passing forth information that the Lord has given me. But I also have the ability to manifest the damnation in my voice, the cursing in my voice and in my words of the Lord.
Yes.
You know? And some people don't understand. If I go to a person who's profane and they're profaning and they're thinking they have the upper hand because we're not profaning,
Right.
I may profane.
Mm-hmm.
And I do it with the best of them. Because I was raised in it.
Right.
But when I came to the way, I came and applied myself to change.
Right.
That don't mean I lost what I was developed in,
Right.
was nurtured in, the ghetto, the hardcore streets, the hardcore projects. I still get that.
Right.
That warrior still lives in me.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people get confused in their offensive behavior because they see me calm, or maybe you,
Right.
or Holy Queen Mother,
Mm-hmm.
you know, see us calm and they think we weak
Yeah.
because we calm, cool, soft, you know, kind, you know, and so I blame a lot of that on their leaders because you get gangs,
Yes, you do.
clans,
You do. All right.
cliques in religion, in
Yes,
the
you do.
religious orders, and they're not right, and the people just cannot see their meanness is not of the Lord Most High. They go against the very spirit of what the holy order is all about.
Right.
You know, anytime you go to a person and you say, Assalamu alaikum, or if you say it in English, may Allah's peace and blessings be with them about your presence, you know, and they snub their nose at you. How about the fools, the ignorant, the older ignorant brothers who would bait you,
Yeah.
and try to get you to say Assalamu alaikum so they could just say.
I find it, very offensive.
They so stupid.
Yeah.
They look so silly, so immature to a person who is more aware. It's like, look at these fools.
Yeah.
You know, I've had that happen a number of times. So what I applied is that I would see them and I say, hey, hi, how you doing? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't need, some of them call them their salams. I'm not getting my salams.
Yeah.
They own Allah. Allah is the salam.
Yeah.
Allah is as-salam. The salam. The peace. I'm going to give my peace. You ain't got no peace. A piece of what? A piece of your hell? A piece of your ignorance? A piece of your stupidity?
Yes.
No, I don't want that peace. I want the peace. The serenity.
Yes.
You know? And if you can't bring that in your spirit, I don't even want your words.
He was always taught, and I see I just share now in the Quran, for example. Many people think you're supposed to go greet people with the salam when you see Muslim. No,
that's wrong.
Greet it.
If you agree,
You give it back. And
you're not supposed to go speak to strangers.
That's the whole thing.
You teach our children, stay away from strangers. Don't talk to
That's
strangers.
right.
Then we go and see somebody because they're in Muslim garments, and we gonna run and say, Salaam alaikum. And then people get offended. Some get offended because I don't know you. Why should I speak to you?
Yeah.
You could be one of those agents, one of them people that's hunting me, trying to kill me. And I'm going to say, man, Allah's peace and blessings be upon you. Was that about your presence? Assalamu alaikum. And then you come and stab me in the back. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It don't make sense. But for being neighborly,
Right.
you speak. I had a neighbor, Muslim, still got him. I don't know if he's a believer, but he's a Muslim. He calls himself a Muslim. I don't know how, he's not of our way. He's not an A.H.A.D believer,
Right.
and he don't follow Muhammad's true way. Because this brother, he would try to bait me. He would look at my wife. He had a thing for my wife, and we could see him clear across the street looking at my wife in lust. Then he became angry after he seen he couldn't get my wife's attention.
Right.
And start being nasty to her. But he wouldn't speak because we didn't come from his congregation, his clan, his whatever clan he was in,
Right.
the school of thought he was in, And he would literally, and this man's older than me, I believe, or as old as me, and he would literally try to bait me to give salams, and he got me a few times. I said, because it's just neighborly, it's all neighborly.
Right.
Wa alaikum. Wa alaikum. And you too.
Exactly.
And he did this so much that what I applied was my right to not speak.
That's right.
I applied my right to not speak. If he spoke to me, I would greet him equally or better. More than likely better. And I remember one time, the man, if he watching the program, he know who I'm talking about. One time he came out of his house to empty some garbage, put some garbage on the curb. And we had a neighbor, Christian brother. And he came out all happy and joyful. Hey, how you doing? Speak to the Christians. Give them their love and their heart. You ain't got to say, may peace be upon you, for you to mean, may peace be upon you.
That's right.
Hey, how you doing? Hi. Hey, how's everything? And I had my back to him. And my neighbor said, hey, how you doing? And I turned and I said, hi. And he stopped. It shook him from the core of his being because he expected me to say Assalamu alaikum. Right. So he could, wa alaikum. That nasty wa alaikum. Right. He doing something against his own soul. That's counted against him. That's not counted against me because Allah said, greet those who greet you equally or better. Now every time they do that, they violating themselves.
They do. Yeah.
They doing a foolish thing. You understand? So I don't partake of that religion. That's their religion.
It's sort of as if he's using it or others use religion as a weapon.
As a confrontation, as an affront, as an offense against you. Because they say that Prophet Muhammad, when the Jews who Muhammad used to say Assalamu alaikum to the Jews, right? And they used to say something that sounded like Salam alaikum, but it was like made you die or something like that. Right, or whatever. And then Muhammad would turn to them and say Wa alaikum, and to you too.
That's right.
So when you say Allah, when you give him Allah's words of praise, the salam, may the salam be upon you. May Allah, because you're saying, when you say I salam, you saying may Allah be upon you.
Right.
Because Allah is the peace.
That's right.
And they say, wa alaikum. And they saying it with the thought of what Muhammad used to say to those enemies of his who wanted to see him dead.
Right.
They are offending their own soul.
Yes.
And then they wonder why they have all kind of problems.
They have many times, as you see now, and I used to explain to it, that they're taking a religion, turning it down, and offending those who seek to believe or will come into this.
Yeah,
they offend Allah. They really don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And then when Allah says time to come upon, they like, oh, why us? As not understanding, because you do it against your own soul. I used to say, look good, you do for the benefit of your own soul.
And it's easy to get evil people. Oh man, if I was to start lying,
oh yeah.
Oh man, if I was to go say I am God, man, they door be bust open.
Oh, yeah.
If I was to change Allah's words and put a little trickery in there, they'd come running.
Yeah.
But because I'm telling the truth, and I won't bend what they say, he's arrogant. They said I was arrogant.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how can they say I'm arrogant? Is they saying I'm arrogant because I don't let them talk down on me? Because I stand up as a real man? Because I show that I don't fear death, I don't fear them, I don't fear their offenses, I don't fear the possibility of what they could do to me, you know? Or what is it? And I went and looked up arrogant. I said, oh, they can't be talking about how I dress. Because arrogance is a person who dressed real well.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I said, whoa, are they that intelligent to say that because of the way I dress? You know how I dress when I used to go to the office. Well, y'all should be glad if you talking about the way I dress. I'm not arrogant anymore. I said the hell with y'all, and I go down there in my work clothes and everything else, because I don't expect anybody to come down there to see me about anything real.
I suspected that there was arrogance because there was no answers to anything that was being said. The teachers, they can't counter it. They can't argue against it. They can't try to fight it. So he's arrogant.
He's arrogant and he's crazy. You know, we went to threaten him and we said all these things and he didn't respond in the way that we wanted him to respond. So he's crazy. But how could you come to me when I know all about your religion? I know about the religion of Islam and I know about the religion of Hadithism, and you don't know nothing about this religion,
right?
The new covenant of Allah. How you gonna mess with me?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So the heat gets on them. And they run from the heat because they feel the Christ. Christ with me. And they feel the heat. And they run and they say, well, what did you do to him? Oh, that nigga crazy. That's their escape.
Right. That's it.
Because they say in Islam, if somebody's insane, then you just leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know? Well, if that hadith is true, then why y'all ain't coming giving me charity, brothers? If I'm insane, why y'all ain't coming support me and feeding me and doing all the things y'all supposed to be doing to the insane brothers? Maybe they don't think I'm really insane, huh?
Anything might be some truth to you after all what you say. They never give I was told with the young people one day, and I either said, blessed with someone understanding that it does many impossible things, but with it all things are possible. See, they don't look at the possibility that you could be what you say you are.
Yeah.
They immediately dismiss it and say,
well, those are the ignorant brothers. But I'm going to tell you something. Those are the ignorant and illiterate, those who are not learned, those who refuse to learn, those who types of people, and it's not just Muslims, but all those people who refuse to study themselves. They want to go and sit in front of another man and let that man dictate to them what they should think and how they should feel. They go to other people who tell them to turn away from all the other books of Allah, where Allah said this book, the Holy Quran, is the criterion of that which came before and that which is yet to come. So they turn you away from all that came from before, because if you go to that which came before, you can find out so much about what the Quran is talking about. See, most of the Muslims don't even know Muhammad came to the Jews. And that the Quran is meant, a lot of what's said in the Quran was directed at the Jews. He was talking to the Jews. That's why they separate what happened before the Hijrah and what happened after the Hijrah, and let you know what times and places who he was talking to, where he was at. So they don't know that. They don't look in history. They let somebody dictate to them. And then the sad part is they got some Arab speaking brothers on hardly speak English that they can't even understand, and they out there, alhamdulillah.
And that was offensive to me. If you sit in the masjid at that time, I don't know, a bit of Arabic he's speaking, and he can say it in English. I know he know English, but it sounds more captivating. You know, and they recite in Arabic their sermon, their khutbahs.
Well, you know, not so much.
No, I'm not so much here.
Not so much to ridicule or anything or make jokes, but you know, I like jokes. But you know, the thing about it, the brother could be up there on the minbar saying, you know, praise to all the brothers who got to go to the bathroom. Y'all may need to go to the bathroom. And some of these brothers don't even know what he's saying. Say, alhamdulillah, did you hear that?
Yeah, they do. Just like the brother offended me many times. They know English. They want to speak to me have English again. What is that?
That's very offensive.
That's offensive to me.
You know what offended me about that? If you can speak what I understand, why you gonna break it and do something else? I ran into this brother I knew, I grew up with. He don't remember me though, but he worked at this place, Home Depot, and he seen it, and he said, I saw him. I said, wow, salam. And then he said, K Falaki, and then he went through this whole thing. You know, I mean a long thing, man. And after he finished, I said, brother, I don't speak Arabic. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. I was just, practicing the deen and so forth and so on, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, brother, now he's peace and blessings be within about your presence. And he's like, and he didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
But he heard me say, peace and blessings be within about your presence.
Right.
And I went about my business. But see, they're taught to do that.
Yeah.
And it's wrong.
Yes.
They, just like the great line of fits against the religion of Islam, Allah don't hear you if you got a dog in your house. Allah don't hear you if you don't speak in Arabic. Like Allah is limited. If you don't say your prayers in Arabic, Allah don't understand that. Allah can't hear that.
What about this here? Sisters, when that time of the month comes, you can't pray to Allah for stay clean. Allah said, God, for a man to stay away from his woman. And Allah never said, God, for a woman to stay away from it.
From praising and worshiping it.
They said, you cannot pray. Wait. But they tell us, sisters, you cannot pray during this time. When you go in the bathroom, you cannot mention Allah's name. I need help from Allah.
Yeah.
In all areas of my life.
Yes.
So I got to cut along. I got to leave along. I'm stepping into the laboratory right now. I'll be back. What is wrong with them?
That reminds me of the devil that I had to wrestle with before I became enlightened. For 9 months, I wrestled with the devil. And it was sitting down with me and the devil in the spirit realm. Right. A lot of people don't believe in unseen. They don't believe that the people who work roots and all that stuff, they don't believe that's real. The people who are into the religion down and the cult religion and what have you, voodoo, and they don't think that's real. They say, that ain't real. But when they get on you, you realize that Allah makes real whatever it wants to make real.
Right.
You understand? So I'm here wrestling with Satan, with my devil.
Right.
And for the first 6 months, it helped me remember the Quran. You recite with me the Quran and the whole 9 yards. But then it made a mistake one day. After the 6 months, around a 6 month period of time, it did something to me that I didn't like physically. Because you can be possessed, you can be physically touched and everything. Like some people who are out there in the audience, they know what I'm talking about, but a lot of people like, whoa, now what is he talking about? He going something different. Hey man, my life is full. Your life can be full too.
That's right.
If you just surrender yourself to Ahezaah. But the thing about it was, he said something. It said something that made me know right away. it said something, and I asked them, what was it doing? I said, I'm studying Quran. Why are you doing this to me? They said, oh, well, you may need relief. You know, you celebrate, you don't have a woman, you may need relief. I said, whoa, oh, no, don't do that. That's not right. I'm here worshiping my Lord. They said, well, be quiet. Be quiet. Don't speak so loud. I said, what are you saying? Up here, Allah can't hear us. It could hear man, but angels, we like Allah. And we can go away and we can whisper and it won't hear us, so just whisper. I said, you're the devil. I got you now. Finally got you. It took 6 months before it thought it had me.
Right.
As long as it was helping me with Quran and what have you, because you can learn from the devil. I surrendered. I asked Allah to guide me, to bless me. You know, and I got to a little the spirituality and what have you. And then some people worked some what they call roots, and then this thing came on me, and here we go. I'm wrestling with Satan. But what the Lord taught me is that the nearer you get to it, the more Satan has to reveal itself to try to stop you. And as long as you're not near to Allah, the devil, you will never know it exists. You'll look at everybody else and say, oh, he's a devil, he's a devil. What about your devil?
Right.
It's non-existent to you.
Right.
But when you come near to the truth for real, then your devil have to step out and try to block you. And that's what happened to me. My devil stepped out. And Allah just allowed these witches to be used as the object to get this thing out to come against me.
Right.
You know? And Ahezaah whipped it down for me. But when it made like there was some place that Allah was not here, like the brothers say, you know, when you go in the bathroom, don't mention Allah's name, you know. Come on. Allah is at all places at all times, man. And you know, I don't want to get so low, but I mean in everything. In the highest and the lowest thing you could think of, the Lord's presence is there, and the Lord is not beneath that, and those things are not equal to it. Allah is above all things, but it must be in everything for anything to exist.
That's right.
You understand? Well, you know. And then the other thing is about the menstruation. Right. Now, you know, I can understand back in the day when Muhammad's time, they lived in the desert, you know,
right.
And Muhammad was guided by wisdom.
Right.
If Muhammad told his sisters, don't come to the masjid,
Right.
stay out there and pray around here, y'all stay back during that period of time. Because, you know, they had a problem with water.
Right.
They didn't have water, they couldn't bathe like we can today.
Right.
And Allah put in the Quran that we could do cleaning ourselves with sand, dirt,
Right.
dust, purify ourselves with that, like elephants and stuff,
They all do
purify
it
themselves.
Right.
You know, Allah teaches us all kinds of ways. But there was a reason that Muhammad told certain people to stand back. But it's not said in the Quran for the women to not pray.
That's right.
Or come to the masjid. But Allah even said to me, tell the sisters and the brothers to not wear too much perfume and too much cologne because it is offensive. We talking about something sweet.
Right.
It is offensive. It hurts the senses. You know, you got brothers all over China and the United States and all over the world talking about with incense burning. Do you think Buddha was killing his senses, burning incense while he was meditating?
No.
That interferes with your sense. That's something the devil created. Right. When Siddhartha Gautama became enlightened, where was he? Outside under a Bodhi tree.
That's right.
He wasn't stuck with incense going up in his nose, killing his sensory perception.
That's right.
So, you know, even perfumes can be offensive. You didn't smell a brother's a block away.
Oh, man, yes.
You walk past a brother and you had that scent on you, man, like, what's going on? The essence they got in the atmosphere is so heavy, it land on you, and somebody said, man, you been around some Muslims, huh?
And that's the funny thing you talk about getting bad, offensive habits. They overdo it. I even speaks about that in the book. It said down and use the Bible it takes about don't overindulge in any sins. Anything.
That's right.
And they put on it. It's like doing it today. It's like they increase it. They add them up. I said, but how we smell you already?
Remember what Untitled said, and everything is backwards.
Everything is backwards now.
Everything is backwards. You know, what's good is bad, what's bad is good, what's up is down, what's down is up, what's in is out, and that's the way it is in religion, man.
We're talking about the talisman. The talisman is the closest to perfume to anything to portray yourself as being that. Everything is on the surface.
Allah tells the brother tells the sisters to don't dress in certain manners to bring attention to themselves. No man and woman should do things to bring attention to themselves. You know, that's why it's offensive when the people see you as a Muslim. They go, "Oh, Jesus." That's why it's offensive when Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking on your door. And they know you Muslim. They know you something else, and they come knocking on your door anyway with these books. You know, and then they wanna offend you with their words. You know, they didn't get so bad speaking about them. Now they have studied the Muslims because the Muslims was beating them up with information. Now they study Islam so they know how to approach a Muslim. Because I've seen them change.
I go back to the offensive of not being open to anybody else. They're coming with their program and their program alone.
It's all a trick of the devil.
Open to them. But,
Right.
They say Jehovah's Witness, Yahuwah's Witness, or Huwaha, or Huaha Witness. Well, they don't see. I know that's a whole lesson there. But Jehovah is actually a phrase, people.
Yes.
It's not a name. It was never a name. Yah means O. Hu is the essence. Y means and Ha means the guide. And when Moses said Yahuwah, he said, "Oh, essence and guide." He didn't say Jehovah as a name.
Right.
You understand? And the Jews know that, but they won't tell it.
Right.
You know?
That's so true.
But they say that they don't know what the last H may represent, so you know they can stay clear of all that. Because then, if you say, "Well, ha, where that come from?" Islam is ha is in Islam. They disconnect like the Muslims disconnect Hu from
Right.
in chapter 112 where it says Hu and Allah is one.
That's right.
Right? They say He is Allah, the one, and they don't say that, you know. But that's another lesson too.
well, the lesson of them establishing factions within themselves, gangs. They want to
Clicks.
clicks.
You can go into some of the matches now. I hear because I don't go in those places.
Yeah.
But you can go on some now. I hear, and they say that they have actually. You see the separations, man. This clan, that clan, that clan. But I know that they had the clansmen in the various masjids in the cities.
Okay.
I know at one time they was warring against one another, you know, and some brothers represent the Turks, other brothers represent the Iranians, other brothers represent the Iraqis, other brothers represent the Saws, you know, and it's the Hashemites, I mean the
Pakistanis,
yeah, but you know the Sunnis against the Shiites and the Hanifis and all of it. And it's like, wait a minute now, you all read from the same book. And you talk about the Christians all read from the same book.
Right.
And you all offending one another. Can't come together. Why? Because they're not seeking Allah.
Right.
They're seeking themselves. They all want to be God. They all want to be powerful and feared. They don't want to surrender to the one that's to be feared, the one that's to be perceived in all things. They don't even know it's to be perceived in all things. If they knew that, then they would know His presence is always here. It says that it is ever present and it is unseen, but how many people believe that? And I know how difficult it is because I remember when Allah came to me and I was so shut out, you know, once He spoke to me through my 7-week-old infant, and I was like, "Oh Lord, I'm so sorry. You're listening to me?" I was shut out to think that the Lord of all worlds was listening to me. It's listening to everyone and everything.
Right.
You can't get nothing past it. And you are the book that's being written, that's going to be presented on the day of judgment for yourself. They think it's another book. No, the book is you. And Allah will open you up and your complete being will separate and your very atoms will start bearing witness against you. At the throne of judgment. Muhammad said your limbs, I'm telling you, your very atoms, each particle of your being. And And actually, when you break it down, each particle of your being is a limb.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?